This presentation will be looking at substance abuse in youth in Australia. It will look at the problems Australia has at the moment with the issue, methods in place already to combat the issue, and an intervention program I have designed to also help combat the rising problem. The World Health Organization defines substance abuse as the harmful or hazardous use of psychoactive substances, including alcohol and illicit drugs. The Australian Institute of Health and Welfare found that in 2016, 16% of Australians aged 14 and over had taken drugs in the last year. And of those drugs, the top 4 illegal drugs that were used were cannabis, ecstasy, cocaine, and methamphetamine. The use of drugs can lead to things such as an addiction to the drug, violence to the self and others, health risks, homelessness, loss of job, loss of family and friends. If you're a parent, having your children removed from your care, death, for instance overdosing, and suicide. The Australian Bureau of Statistics stated that in 2016 there was 1,808 reported drug-induced deaths in Australia. The Australian Institute of Criminology reported that from 2013 to 2014, the overall costs involved with drug use and drug activity was estimated to be close to $4.4 billion. This cost estimate takes into account health impacts of illicit drug use, money lost to the economy through international payments for illicit drug importation, and lost output of drug users. There is also the cost methamphetamine use has on the healthcare system, which is in fact quite significant. It includes ambulance costs, emergency department presentations, hospital admissions, mental health treatment, and treatment for counselling for drug use. Between 2011 and 2013, ambulance attendance for incidents related to crystal meth use increased by 88% in metropolitan Melbourne and by almost 200% in regional Victoria. The societal impacts that drug use has are an increase in criminal activity, driving under the influence, family violence, sexual violence, homicide, and an overall increase in contact with the criminal justice system. The main causes to this issue are experimental use, that is, starting off doing it socially, then becoming addicted, a family history of drug use and/or addiction, injured people. Sometimes people start taking pain relief medication and then they become addicted to the drug. Environmental factors such as peer pressure, mental health disorders, and also childhood trauma that has never been managed. Currently in Australia, there are medically supervised injecting centres, methadone clinics, counselling, drug hotlines, rehab, NA and AA meetings, and criminal punishments. Medically supervised injecting centres are places where people can use drugs under the supervision of medical staff and health professionals. Methadone clinics specifically prescribe drug users with methadone, which is part of the opioid family. The aim of this type of treatment is to allow the user the same feelings they get when using illicit drugs, be it pain relief, relaxation, or pleasure, but replace the illicit drug with methadone that can be monitored by health professionals in an attempt to wean you off drugs altogether. Counselling, hotlines, meetings, rehab, and criminal punishments are methods that have been around for a long time in the prevention and/or management of drug use in youths in Australia. These particular methods, whilst they can be beneficial to some, aren't 100% proven to stop drug use in youths. They are more starting out places for people who can identify that they have a problem and need help. The medically supervised injecting centres were first opened in Sydney. An evaluation of the Sydney Centre has found that, as of 2015, more than 965,000 injections have been supervised. Management of more than nearly 6,000 overdoses without one single fatality. More than 12,000 referrals have been made to external health and social welfare services. The number of ambulance call-outs to King's Cross has reduced by 80% since the centre opened in 2015. There's been no increase in crime in the King's Cross area, and also the number of publicly discarded needles and syringes has halved in King's Cross since the opening of the centre. Positive psychology can be defined as a study of human growth and development in a psychological aspect. It is an applied approach to how we function to the best of our ability. It has also been explained as a study of strengths and standards that allow for an individual or community to thrive. The positive psychology approaches that we will be looking at in the creation of our intervention will be the hope theory, the strength-based approach, and motivation. These three principles are imperative in the creation of an effective intervention program. The hope theory is all about goal attainment. The strength-based approach focuses on an individual's self-determination and strength. And motivation looks at, as an individual, what it is that we want and the reasons we act the way we do to achieve our motivated goals. These three principles are imperative to the application of the intervention we'll be looking at next. The intervention program will look at group sessions that are available to the youth who are abusing substances. The program will incorporate drug education, mindfulness, goal setting, individual strength finding, and motivation into creating a personalised plan for each individual taking part in the program. The program will run once a fortnight for the span of a year. It will be run by qualified trainers, and the program will include education on drugs and the negative effects it has on one's life. Recovering and recovered addicts can come to talk to the youth to share their stories. There will also be long-term and short-term goal setting. Other things that can be incorporated into this plan are having booklets that the youth can make to create their own personal journeys, and as well as the opportunity to take part in meditation classes as a way to learn techniques to deal with their emotions, reduce stress in an attempt to find positivity in oneself. The program will be available for youth in Australia who have been in trouble with the law for substance abuse, and also for youth who voluntarily want to take part in the program. The program will run in local schools. As mentioned earlier, there has been a significant increase in the use of illicit drugs within the youth of Australia. As the drug epidemic only seems to be worsening and the ease of finding drugs seems to be increasing, it is important to apply appropriate action to educate and help the young people who do drugs stop before it becomes a proper addiction and potentially ruin their life. By having such intervention programs, it not only gives them a look at what their life could be, but also gives them some merit by setting goals and finding their strengths and using them to motivate themselves to achieve their goals and find their positive emotional state. Overall, this intervention will provide a support base for youth overcoming drug use. By incorporating positive psychology principles, it allows for the youth to look at the issue from a positive perspective and essentially see the light at the end of the tunnel. It is about showing them that they have the ability and the strength to set goals for themselves and achieve what they may think that they can't. It is about making them feel that they have the power to change their ways and not end up as a statistic, be it in drug-related deaths, crime, or anything of the like. Giving the youth the power to find opportunity to succeed is a step in the right direction to combat substance abuse in the youth of Australia. Limitations to this intervention are the youth might not want to commit to a year-long program. Also, if they've been referred to the program, they might be unwilling to participate. Youth might not be willing to document their thoughts and feelings into a journal each week, therefore not reaping the full benefits of the program. After the program is over, depending on the success of the individual and how serious they took the program, they could fall back into old habits. And also, the youth could be doing drugs because of the type of people that they hang around. If they leave the program and go back to hanging out with their old friends, chances are they could do drugs again.